But moving on to our last topic for the day. You can guess what it is. Go ahead and tell him. Go ahead and tell him. You know what it is.
Do I know?
You know. What was revealed recently?
Oh, the Switch 2.
The Switch
I
2.
completely forgot. Yes, the Nintendo Switch 2 was released, and it's funny because the morning you sent me the release, like the first look trailer, I had the Twitter link copied to send to you. It was like, it was early enough in the morning. I was like, maybe Deshaun hasn't seen it. You were on it, and I was like, damn.
It's so.
But
yeah, the Switch 2 has finally been officially revealed, and if I'm being honest, it was kind of underwhelming, but by no fault of Nintendo. The leaks really took the wind out of the sails of this announcement, and it feels like maybe it wasn't even supposed to be announced like this. This is the successor to one of the highest selling consoles of all time. I believe it's like number 3, just behind the Wii and the PS2, and it has completely changes how Nintendo operates because of that. I imagine that the Direct that's coming on April 2nd was supposed to be when they fully revealed it, but they essentially put this out. I saw somebody said that, why does this feel like Nintendo just said, here, nigga, damn. And I was like, that's exactly what they did, because they probably did this to get ahead of the leaks, or get even more ahead of the, more leaks coming out, because there have been so many. And they were like, damn, we got to say something at this point.
Right. And I think the funniest thing about that is it's the same, like, gaming journalists that were like perpetuating the leaks are now like, oh, the Switch 2 reveal was really underwhelming. Gee, I wonder why.
Exactly. Like, oh, I wonder why. And it's like, here's the thing. I'm not mad at you covering the leaks. It's just like,
Right,
don't
that's
then say
journalism.
something like this when you know why. At least I hope, like, in the article they address that. And, like, sometimes the titles are misleading, and the article
Yeah.
can be better written and, go more into detail than you think than based off the title. But at the same time, it's like, come on, you know why. You can cover, you covered it.
Yeah.
Like, just be honest with yourself. We don't care that you covered it. We were listening. We watched it. We read the articles. We liked it. But,
Right.
but like, don't pretend like you don't know why this is happening. But,
Right, you didn't have a hand in this.
before we get into the mouse stuff, there's a button on the right Joy-Con that people don't know what it is. People are assuming that. So there's one theory that is very interesting that could result in a bunch of DS games working on this now, is that maybe you will be able to wirelessly pair your Switch using that button to your dock. That way you can have two screens, the Switch screen in front of you and it's streaming to your TV, so that you can actually play games with two screens, and you can play DS games that aren't available on the Switch.
Fine.
And make them available now. That would be dope as hell for people who want to play all those games that they weren't available on the Switch because they require dual screens.
Right.
That would be interesting. But the mouse.
Very interesting.
Yeah, so a couple weeks ago, the people have noticed that there was an optical sensor similar to what's at the bottom of a mouse. I'm like lifting my mouse and looking at it on like the side of the Joy-Con in between the shoulder buttons that are on the inside that usually slides in or connects to, and that maybe you'll be able to turn it on the side, slide it around, and use it as a mouse. And in this trailer, they show the mice sliding, or the Joy-Con sliding around on the new wrist straps that add like a little bit more of a barrier, and that prevents you from like wearing down the actual Joy-Con itself, and also makes the buttons even bigger to make it even easier to use as a controller by itself, individually. But yeah, you show it sliding around with the tassel behind it, making it look like a mouse.
A mouse.
So I feel like that all but confirms that there will be some type of mouse support, which is interesting. And I'm curious to see how that's going to work. Like, people are about to start getting cracked in Splatoon.
Oh yeah, they're gonna put like an actual browser on the thing now.
Oh god, so many people want that. So many people want that.
Because I mean, the DS had one, and so did the Wii U.
It's crazy that when I heard that there was no internet browser on the Switch, I was like, what? Why?
Well, okay. To be fair, there is an internet browser, but the only way you can access it is the eShop.
Yes, I was just about to say that, because the eShop, the eShop isn't an app. It's not an app. It's actually running through a browser. That's so stupid.
It's so dumb, and it runs like absolute like dog water. It's
I
terrible.
really hope they
I
fix
hate
that.
going on the eShop.
Like every time
Yeah,
I hear stuff about the Switch, I'm like, you know what? I'm so glad I waited, because hopefully
yeah.
they
But
fix
I'm
all
like,
that stuff. I'm gonna get the like perfected version of the
right.
Switch.
And like I get why they have it run in in a browser, you know, so you can't like it can check if you're connected to the internet and all this stuff, but like they could have handled it a lot better. It did not have to run like doo doo
You
garbage.
know
That's all
what?
I'm
You know
saying.
what? Like requires damn near constant internet connection that I use all the time and has separate apps. My Xbox. So
Mm.
step your shit up, Nintendo.
No, yeah,
um,
for real.
but yeah, I hope they fix a lot of that small stuff. Dang, there was something very specific I was gonna say. I can't remember. So let's just move on to the rumors of
Yeah.
how powerful the console will be. Um, we talked about it a little bit before, but based on leaked motherboard images, um, we have almost confirmation that the Switch 2 will be as powerful as PS4 Pro. Um, and immediately console warriors start complaining and comparing. Um, and it's like this is a good thing. This is a really good thing. First of all, let's talk about the fact.
Right.
Let's talk about the fact that the Nintendo Switch came out 2017, right? That is
Mm.
4 years after the PS4 and the Xbox One, which came out in 2013. Um, and it was using tech on the level of like a PS3, Xbox 360, which, don't get me wrong, a PS3 could somehow, some way run GTA 5, which is incredible.
Right.
Um, with that said, 720p is unreasonably low image quality
Yeah.
for the year of our Lord 2024. I would say by the time we hit 2020,
Mm.
720p was unacceptable. The fact that they released the OLED, but the OLED was still locked to 720p is so stupid. Like
Yeah.
a screen, a screen as the size of a phone or bigger should not be low. Like the highest that you could go should not be lower than 1080p. I don't even think 720p is considered HD anymore. I think 1080p is now
It's
HD.
not. It is.
That's crazy that in 2017 they released a console that didn't even have HD graphics. Like I'm not a
Mm.
snob about that type of stuff, but I have a line, and my line is
And that's
it's 1080p. Like you heard me earlier talking about those goddamn Ben 10 DVDs. I need my Blu-rays
right.
because DVDs don't support anything higher than 720p.
Right.
That's why Blu-ray. That's why you constantly hear me talk about like when things don't have Blu-rays, but they do have DVDs because Blu-rays are 720p. Like I have Harry Potter on DVD. I wish I didn't because it's DVD. It's 720p. It looks like ass. um, but like, yeah, like I appreciate the person who gifted it to me, but like,
Right.
um,
At the same time.
and I did watch them all on the DVDs. But like, yeah, it's like it's crazy that for 8 years, people with Switches have been stuck with 720p. So having presumably 1080p finally handheld is going to be great. But there are also rumors that maybe it will actually be upresed when it's docked, which would be incredible.
It would be.
Nintendo does not need 4K. But if they were to give me 1440p, I'd cry because I'm not expecting it at all. So I would just be
Right.
completely and totally surprised. So if they could give us 1440p, I will shake Shigeru Miyamoto's hand. Even though I'm pretty sure he's not making those decisions anymore. But like,
Yeah,
uh,
but still.
like it would be great. But like, look at games like Red Dead Redemption 2, Uncharted 4, and The Last of Us Part 2, and tell me that if those games, without remasters, came out today on PS5, Xbox One, and PC, you wouldn't believe that it just came out for this generation. You would, because those games look
Right.
incredible. And that is the power. More powerful than that, actually, because it's a Pro, not just a regular PS4. The regular PS4 did that. It's supposedly not as powerful as a Pro, a little bit more powerful than a Pro, somewhere like just below Xbox Series S. Um,
Mm.
so like, oh my God, Nintendo games are gonna start looking good. It's gonna be
Right. And then
crazy.
the thing that people are forgetting, right? Like, yes, it's PS4 power, but the
In your
keyboard here,
hand.
it's
It's in your hand.
You can take it with
Imagine
you.
carrying a PS4 with a screen, 8-inch screen around. That would be that's crazy. I think people are
Crazy.
forgetting that it's in your hand.
Right.
Like it makes sense why they had to use PS3 technology for the Switch. After a while, though, like come on, you got to upgrade.
It's like people forget that the whole point of the Switch is it for it to be portable. Like I get if it was a regular console, I usually I don't care about stuff like this. It's like if it plays games, great. But if it were a regular console, like yeah, this would be unacceptable. But it's portable. It goes in your pocket. It can go with you everywhere. It's insane. Like this is more than enough, even.
Yeah,
Although I will admit that sometimes some video games on my original Switch, God rest its soul, I don't think it's ever going to see the light of day again after the Switch 2 comes out, but like some games do run like absolute garbage on there, which makes me sad because there's a lot of good games out there. They just don't run good because the tech is the generation behind. But like PS4 level, especially as I've just gotten a PS4 and can see how powerful it is,
yeah.
yeah, like no,
Like
having something like that in your pocket is revolutionary.
yeah, like the reality is the people complaining either aren't a part of the target audience to begin with, or they're just gonna buy it anyway, despite their complaining.
Right.
And like PlayStation, Xbox have barely taken advantage of their current generation of consoles, whereas Nintendo is about to take full advantage of their new tech with every game that they make. And hopefully we get remasters of Switch games like the Zeldas, which I assume like Breath of the Wild. I hope it like ships with a remaster of Breath of the Wild at the very least.
That would be nice.
Like I imagine
That would
like
be
we're
nice.
probably gonna get Breath of the Wild, Super Mario Odyssey, like remasters like
Mm.
off rip because
Which would be funny because it'd be the third time Breath of the Wild is released.
hilarious. But yeah.
Mhm.
And like you said, the fact that this is handheld is crazy. Also, handhelds have historically been like a generation behind in power. That's just how that works because it has to be held in your hand. But with that said,
Right.
of course there are handhelds that can reach, you know, the power of modern consoles. You got the Steam Deck and the ROG Ally. But here's the thing: those cost
Price tag.
$700.
Yeah.
That's the difference. Nintendo wants their stuff to be affordable. This is probably going to be $400, $399.99. So that's a good price for this. That's going to be a big enough
Right.
price for people to go, okay, time for me to upgrade, and I'm going to have this for another 8 years. Um, so like, yeah, that's like this. This is a
Yeah, it's
console
like
that is that's like being like predominantly aimed towards children, not tech snobs.
right. This is not
Like
for you.
go get a Steam Deck if you want that. But let's talk about the
Right.
fact
And
that all of the third party games that Nintendo is about to start porting to the Switch.
oh, absolutely.
They're about to go crazy with third party games. Like, where is it? There was a rumor that maybe Final Fantasy VII Remake about to be on Switch too,
And I will play it.
and that ran on PS4, so I believe that ran on a base PS4. I played that on a base PS4, and that game
Right.
is very demanding. And then maybe they'll make Rebirth work. Like they're probably gonna like
Yeah.
studios. You know what? What makes me happy is that this
Mm-hmm.
could result in a thing that I talked about a few episodes ago, where I said I think 1440p, 60 frames per second should be the goal of every game. That should be the base. That should be what every game should strive for. And then later on, they could try and make 4K like 120 frames work. But 1440p, 60 frames should be the base. And if that were to become the base, then you would be it would be much easier to port games to Switch, to port games to, which a lot of devs have complained about, the Xbox Series S, because it's less powerful than the Xbox Series X. But Xbox wants every single game that's on the Xbox Series X to also work on S. They, like, studios have a hard time trying to, like, make their games work on the less powerful version of the Xbox. Because of that, there are a lot of games that just don't release on Xbox until like a year after they're out on PC and PlayStation. Um, but if it were to become
And by the
a
time the hype's done,
yeah, and but if it were to become a norm for games to run at the power of Xbox Series S and the Nintendo Switch that's coming up, because like I said, presumably it's going to be around, it's going to be comparable to a Series S, then you know that wouldn't be a problem.
right?
Yeah, so like I'm so excited for this. I'm so excited to finally have a Switch. It's gonna be so good. Like, and I'm
Yeah.
talking about like playing so many games. I'm gonna be playing Nintendo games that I didn't get a chance to play.
Right.
Um, I didn't think I'd be interested in Mario Party until I watched somebody play Mario Party Jamboree, and I'm like, you know what? I kind of want to play that. um,
Group of friends, it's really fun.
yeah, I'll probably like when I get that, I'm probably gonna like, okay, mom, sis, come on over. We're gonna play Mario Party. Let's play Mario Kart, which they
Right.
showed a little teaser for potentially
I was gonna say,
Mario Kart 9 or whatever they call it. And I don't play Mario Kart. I don't think I've ever played a Mario Kart. So this could potentially be my first Mario Kart.
real. I do. And the prospect of, based on the like reveal teaser, of there being like 24 people races is both insane and so intriguing to me. But then on the same token, if I come 24th place in a Mario Kart race, I'm crashing out will not begin to describe what will happen.
This is about to be the Super Smash Brothers Ultimate of Mario Kart, where they have like every track from every game. They're gonna have like every Nintendo
Right.
character ever in the game as playable character. That's probably exactly what this is about to be. This is about to be the last Mario Kart. This is about to become games as a service
Yeah.
Mario Kart. Watch, which honestly doesn't sound like a bad idea.
It really doesn't.
To just be like,
I wouldn't
okay,
mind.
this is the last Mario Kart, and from here on out, we're just gonna keep adding new tracks and new carts and new
Right.
characters. Like that's honestly not a
Because
bad
that's
idea.
what they kind of did with 8.
Yeah, that's what they did. That game lasted for like it lasted like 2 generations, didn't it? Like it came out on a Wii U,
It did.
and then it was on the Switch, and now it's gonna be on. Well, technically it'll be on Switch too, but they're releasing a new Mario Kart for the Switch too.